Before I begin, I want to make this very clear. This video is presented for educational and informational purposes only. The information discussed in this video are based upon historical data, public record, and documented research that anyone can independently verify. The terms used in this video reflect historical classification, not modern identity labeling, and are presented strictly within their academic and historical context. The goal of this video is to understand, not blame, not to give you a decision, but to add clarity. With that being said, let's dive on in. How you doing, good folks? It's your man VA Power here. I am the Watcher. You're now attuned to the Watchman'S nest. Thank you. Check me out, right? So, what we got right here is an economic case study about a movie that was put together in 1954 called How to Sell the Negro.
What up, fam? Every now and then I get frustrated. When I say I get frustrated with my life, y'all life, and our perceptions of life. I was talking to a brother yesterday. He said, well, at least you free. At least you did it. I said, brother, I ain't free. And he said, yeah. I said, how I'm free? I said, on the way over here, if I drive 5 miles faster than I want to drive, I can receive punitive damage. What you mean you free? Huh? If you cook your motherfucking steak raw, you gotta cook it as raw as they say it's raw. Your food. White folks control any and every aspect of our life. They set the standard. They set the norm for everything. If you want to chop down wood with an axe, you must build your motherfucking log cabin the way they see it and register it downtown. You understand? What you mean you free? Some of us cannot piss before 9:15. We get to work at 7, clock in, sit down in the cubicle, and the white man said, you cannot piss before 9:15. If you get hungry, you cannot eat before 9:15. If you need to take a fucking aspirin or change your fucking tampon, you better sit in this fucking desk and bleed the 9:15, nigga. What you mean you free? Huh? We not free. They control every aspect of our lives. And the sad thing about it, we don't realize they control these fucking white folks' lives too. The only people free is that top 1%.
Hello, I'm Bob Trout. I've got a story here that I think is big, really big, because it's bound to have a terrific impact on business. I'm talking about a new market, a big new market, millions upon millions of new prospects with $15 billion to spend. That's right, I said $15 billion. That's a lot of money, isn't it? The surprising thing is that it's a fresh market, still full of opportunities. It grew up so fast, got so big in a hurry, that few of us realize its scope. Now, these days, nobody's likely to pass up chances to sell. And yet right here in our own front yard, there's a neglected market. There's money waiting to be spent. To get the story of this market, to be able to tell you the secret of selling the Negro, we did a lot of digging. We talked to leading businessmen, the customers, and the salesmen. We went to Washington, D.C. We set up cameras and other key points around the nation. And out of this all, there emerged a story, the story of a new market. Yes, this is the market we're talking about, the new Negro family. Their name is Wells or Wilson, Smith or Brown or Alexander or Breen. They live in Chicago, in Atlanta or New York, in Detroit, St. Louis, Los Angeles, any one of 1,000 cities and towns. All over the country, families such as this are enjoying new prosperity. They have new interests, new standards of living, a buying power they've never enjoyed before. They're good prospects for practically all types of goods and services. All too often, though, they're overlooked prospects. Why? Because of some good, valid reason? No. They're overlooked because of mistaken ideas, because of out-of-date ideas about how the Negro lives and how he buys. The truth of the matter is that the Negro lives pretty much the same as other folks. He buys pretty much the same way, too. But just the same, a lot of old doubts and opinions keep cropping up over and over again. The truth is that 1 out of every 3 Negro families living in cities today owns its own home. That figure comes directly from the United States Bureau of Census. Not more of a credit risk than any other group. Actually, the Negro homebuyer meets his payments faithfully, often more faithfully than other race groups in the same economic level. That's the information we got from people who ought to know, the National Association of Real Estate Boards. According to leading researchers, in proportion to population and income, Negroes buy more quality products than any other comparable United States group. Negroes own homes. They meet their payments faithfully. They buy good brands of merchandise. So why let a lot of old-fashioned ideas hurt profits? Take a look at the real facts. Here in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, some amazing facts and figures about this new market have been uncovered. For a first-hand report, we would like to take you directly to the United States Department of Commerce to hear this story from the Secretary of Commerce himself. Here is the Honorable Sinclair Weeks, the Secretary of Commerce of the United States.
In the Department of Commerce, we are constantly alert to trends that mean a healthier national economy, better business for the nation as a whole. Recently, we have been interested in a rising young market, one that represents a huge potential for goods and services. I'm referring to the new Negro market. The tremendous buying power of this group is backed, of course, by an increased earning power. The average Negro family's income is at a record high. In fact, since 1939, it has increased more than the average income of all other Americans. Just take a look at a few figures. An official Department of Commerce report shows that at least 1/3 of the Negroes living in cities earn from $2,000 to $5,000 a year. Today, the average Negro wage earner brings home a paycheck 4 times larger than the one he collected in 1939. As a whole, the Negro market has a total income of about $15 billion every year. And after taxes, Negro families still have many billions of dollars to spend. Here is a buying power that cannot help but have a tremendous effect on our national economy and on business prosperity in general. When these dollars are spent for a wide range of goods, services, and employment, business everywhere is bound to feel the impact.
This new buying power has resulted in a class Negro market, a profitable, above-average income group of consumers. For example, the nation's largest newspaper and magazine research organization, Daniel Starch and Staff, reports these significant figures. More than 51% of the readers of Ebony magazine have a record player in their homes. Almost 64% own a television set. And almost 78% enjoy the convenience of an electric refrigerator. It is also a fact, and this is from the magazine The Food Field Reporter, that Negroes spend almost $3 billion a year for food alone. Per capita, they buy more cosmetics, drugs, and toiletries than anyone else in the country. And their children are better educated, too, because since 1930, enrollment in Negro colleges is up 2,500%. The impact of this new buying force is so tremendous that actually in 14 major United States markets, a product cannot be #1 without Negro support. A product must have the backing of this big new buying power to be a leader in the field. What do you have to sell? Chewing gum or cars? Toothpaste or transportation? Whatever it is, here are millions of prospects. They'll buy from anyone who wants to sell to them.
The secret of selling to the Negro is expressed in one word. That word is recognition. Now, there's nothing unusual about that. Another trait of the Negro market is the fact that it is a pre-sold market. We know that the Negro buys by brand, and he buys the brands that he knows something about. So he spends more of his money for the things that are available to him, often for items that are considered luxuries. Another point, the Negro family does things together, as a group. The family works as a unit. It lives as a unit, and it buys as a unit. When you sell to one member, you many times sell to all.
But now, wait a minute. If the Negro market is so big and easy to reach, why aren't more companies going out after it?
The Negro just wants to be treated like everybody else. And naturally, anybody resents being patronized or talked down to. When a guy's in business, no matter what color his skin is, he's interested in making a living, in making money. That's uppermost in his mind.
That's the secret of selling the Negro. Well, how about it? What do you think of this new market? It can open new outlets for you and for everybody who sells goods or services. It's still possible to get in on the ground floor when this market is just beginning to grow and to expand. The facts and the figures that we see here are just a small sample of what they promise to be next year and the years after that. Yes, here are men and women with money to spend, and they spend it for exactly the same things as you and I and everyone else. They buy almost every type of product and service that you have to offer, and they can be reached like everyone else through publications that appeal to their interests and desires, that deliver the kind of loyal readership that can be proved both in surveys and in down-to-earth sales. Here is a ready-made market waiting to be asked to buy. Here are millions of customers for what you have to sell. Customers with $15 billion to spend.
I can't raise my kids the way I want to. What you mean we free? You can't pull your kid out of school without giving them a motherfucking sheet of paper that says how you gonna educate them. The fuck you mean you free? Huh? What do we mean we free? We can't turn a fucking light on without kids. Huh? We free. Ain't nobody in this country free. But damn, shit got me bugging out. I got to thinking about it extra hard. Extra hard. I don't deal with none of them. Work for myself. I ain't no fucking free. I'm not free. Huh? Way I feel walking around the store shopping. Motherfuckers following me around. I'm free. Huh?
Hurry up and buy.
Ain't you free? You better wake up and live as best as you can within bondage. And that entails us doing for us, and it starts by educating our own children. Fuck you mean you free, nigga?
Closing disclaimer. This presentation was created for educational purposes only. All data referenced comes from publicly available historical and academic sources. Viewers are encouraged to verify information independently and explore original research. With that being said, I'd like to thank you all for listening. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. Once again, I'm your man via Power. I am the Watcher, and you are in tune to the Watchman's Nest. Thank you.